Pretty much every settings screen has the same shape. We have a label on the left and a value or control on the right. You've probably written it with an HStack and a spacer in the middle 100 times. SwiftUI actually has a semantic row that does it for you. You can see we have a few examples on the preview here right now. And it actually adapts to whatever you put in it, whether that's text or even something like a toggle here. Go over initializers, style, and recreating one real settings screen. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Okay, so I have a blank Xcode project opened. If you want to follow along, I'm going to actually delete the placeholder text, and instead of a VStack, I'm going to add a form for our first labeled content. To declare the labeled content, it's capital L, labeled, and then capital C for the content. Then within the argument brackets, we need to provide it with a label. Now, typically this is a string value, so we're going to put name, and then we can add a comma. We're going to include the value. Now for this value, we're going to pass through a string, so maybe my name would be Robert here. And take a look at the preview on the right. Inside the form, you get the native look for free. We have our label on the left with the primary color, and then on the right, we have the value, which is in the secondary color. It's a little bit more grayed out by default. And this would actually be aligned against every other row within the form. If we were to create some labeled content outside of the form, let's create another one here. Let's have it be name v2, and then we'll include a value once again, and this will be Bob. You'll notice it's actually going to be at the bottom of the view, and it looks a little bit scuffed. It's still displaying the label on the left side and the value on the right side. However, we kind of lose that styling. That entire form styling doesn't exist because the form isn't there. Essentially, you have one API, and then the context picks the layout. Go ahead and get rid of this, and let's explore how we can actually have content as a closure. So this value string here is kind of the shortcut. The full API can actually take a trailing closure, and the content can be in a view. So within our form, let's create another labeled content. Let's give it a name like brightness. And instead of adding a comma and value, we're going to add a brace and then hit return. This is where we can include any SwiftUI view we'd like. So for me, I'm going to do a slider, and it's going to have a value, and we'll make a binding of brightness. Now, of course, when we have a binding, we need to hook it up to a state private var. And we'll call it brightness. And this is going to be a double value, and we'll just have it be 0.5 by default. Now, when the view refreshes here, we'll see in our form that we actually have the slider content appearing instead of the grayed out name. And we can click and drag this, and it works as any other view would. But it's great because the label is still kind of locked to the left column, and in the right column, if you think about it, we have that slider. Let's take a look at another pattern for TextField. We'll do labeled content. We'll give it a name like username. We'll add our brace for the value. We'll include a text field. We'll give it the placeholder of username. And for the text, we need to give it a binding variable. We'll just say username for now. And we'll add a multi-line text alignment, maybe dot trailing. Let's really quickly create that state private var up top. And we'll have it be username. And by default, it'll just be an empty string. And we can see it's added another row here with our username, and I've chosen trailing here so that the text meets the value column instead of starting halfway across the row. So this is kind of like a form row that's still a form row, but it's editable. So if we were to use our keyboard here, we can see that the trailing is making it kind of start all the way over here. If we didn't have that multi-line trailing, it might look a little bit more janky. See how it's right next to the username? Doesn't look the best. So that trailing is a nice little tip for anybody doing labeled content with a text field. So let's take a look at formatted values. Whenever the value is a number, date, or measurement, you can actually skip the interpolation. So let's add more labeled content, and I'm going to have this maybe represent something like progress. Now, when we have our value, what we would have to do with some other views is do our string interpolation trick here, right? Where we'd probably have this, we'd have our value is, and then within the brackets, our value. Right? We don't actually need to do that. Instead, when we have our value, we can just pass through that raw data. In this case, maybe my value is 0.72, and I'm trying to represent this as a %. So after the value, add a comma, then format, and you can use dot notation here to see all of your different options. In this case, if I wanted it to be currency, I'm going to do % for mine. And now we can see progress 72%. It looks beautiful. I'll quickly show you the version for date. So let's do our labeled content once again. Maybe this is joined, so perhaps when the user joined the app, we'll have our value, and we're going to do the date.now. I'm going to add a comma, and we'll add our format. And for this one, I'm going to do .date time, and then we can customize this. Maybe I want to show the month, followed by the day, finally followed by the year. And now we can see joined April 19th, 2026. You can get, more detailed than this, but it's pretty cool. And I really think you see a lot of the labeled content for things like progress on achievements, adding usernames, or the date that you joined the app, or when an action last happened. Okay, let's talk about customizing the labeled content even further now. So when we have the labeled content, it's actually taking two closures. The first one is the label, which the entire time we've just been using a plain string value. And then we have the value, which is also known as the content. And when a plain string isn't enough, we can customize it even further. So we'll once again do our labeled content. And instead, we're going to add a brace. I'm going to add a text, and I'll say something like home network. Then we can add a label. You've seen this with like your buttons, colon, we'll add a brace again. I'm going to add a custom label, and I'm going to do one with the system image here. So I'm going to say maybe this is for Wi-Fi, and the system image, I believe it's actually just a string called Wi-Fi, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. So now you can see how Apple settings can do a lot of their customization in the app. We have the text that says home network, and we've also included the label. So we have that system image followed by Wi-Fi. And then the content says home network on the right side. And I'll show you another trick. What if the whole row should open up to a detail screen? Well, we can add a navigation link with a brace, and I'm just going to have some text here. You'd obviously want to handle this in your full app. And maybe this will say Wi-Fi details. We can then add our label, add a brace, and we'll have our labeled content. I'm going to pass through the Wi-Fi here again, and we'll do the hard-coded value, and we'll have this say home network. So of course you'd actually want to handle this navigation link. The disclosure chevron right here might be a little hard to see because it's gray on the right. That's the form recognizing the navigation link, not us positioning it at all. So if you maybe have to click on something and go enter more details or another section of the form, you can use that labeled content within the label of the navigation link to have that automatic chevron. It's very intuitive to the user. Okay, now let's talk about the custom styles. So the default style that has been applied to all of our labeled content so far is horizontal. Maybe if you want the label stacked above the value, a field label on a card, or perhaps a compact data readout, we can write a custom style. So I'm going to create a new file from scratch here. So new empty file, it's going to create a new Swift file, and we're going to call it something like vertical labeled style. We're going to first import SwiftUI, and then we're going to create a struct, and we're going to give it the name of the file, so vertical labeled style, and we're going to add a colon, and it's going to conform to a capital L labeled content style. We can see here the appearance and behavior of a labeled content instance. We'll then add our brace. So within here, this is how we can make that custom style. We need to have a function of makeBody and include the configuration. Definitely use the autofill here, it'll save you some time. With our code, this is where we're going to customize how the labeled content looks. We'll create a VStack here. In this case, I'm going to have some alignment, and maybe mine's leading. And I'm going to have a little bit of spacing, like literally 2. We'll then add a brace because we want to have content within the VStack. So we're going to look at the configuration.label. So this is the label of the labeled content instance. When we were looking at our content view before, it would be the label here like progress or the brightness. So on the left, this is what we're customizing. And you can go as, customized as you want here. Essentially, we'll add properties and modifiers to the label here. So in this case, I'm going to change the font to be caption. And for me, my foreground style, just to show it off, you probably want to make it a little bit nicer. I'm going to make it cyan. So it pops out and we know we're using the custom. Then we can look at the configuration of the content. So the content is typically that value. In this case, it would be the content of the slider, the value here of Robert, when we got really customed with the things like the value date now and the formatting there. This content is what's typically been on the right, that slider, the custom views, when the user joined at. And I'm just going to update the font to be .body, and maybe we'll make the foreground style. So we'll do purple, and maybe we'll have a little bit of opacity on that, like 0.7. Again, this is totally arbitrary. I just want you to be able to customize everything. There we go. So now in our content view, whenever we have a labeled content, we can actually customize it. I know we have quite a bit of these going on here, but I'm just going to go down and add a new one. So again, we'll create our labeled content. We'll fill it with the normal information. Maybe this one's email. We'll have a value of, noadexample.com. After our argument brackets, we'll do the .LabeledContentStyle. Now again, by default, we just have automatic configuration or a make body. Well, lucky for us, we can reference that structure, which is that vertical labeled style with the empty brackets here. We'll add a little bit of padding as well. So now we can see, since we made ours vertical, we have the email at the top with the caption, and then with the font of body in that purple color, we have the value appearing underneath. So I made a really basic example with this labeled style, but just know you can customize the way the stack is. You can even do things like a Z stack if you really wanted to. A background, you can customize how the label looks and feels, and same with any of the content, and you can make as many of these structures as you want. But essentially it's the same labeled content call, just a different shape. You can apply the modifier to a container, and every row inside will actually inherit that style. We can do that real quick. It's going to look really cursed. Let's take this and we'll go to the bottom of our form. So we'll double left click on this brace here, and we'll add the label content style. It looks a little cursed, especially with the colors I've chosen, but you can see how it would actually affect everything. Go ahead and reset that. Okay, so we went through quite a lot of examples, but let's go ahead and put it together in a real settings screen. So I'm going to create a new file from template if you want to follow along here. We'll do a SwiftUI view. We'll call it settings view. Okay, before we write any of the front end, let's make sure we have our state private vars. I'm going to make 3 of them here. We're going to simulate real controls, and we're not going to use any HStacks here. We're going to do one for network, account, and maybe storage. So we'll do private var, and we'll have this one be called Wi-Fi on. By default, that'll be true. It's going to be a Boolean value. We'll have another state private var. This one will be for Bluetooth on, and that's going to equal false. And then we'll have a username. And by default, I'll just have it be my name here. Okay, in the variable body of some view, I'm going to have a navigation stack. And then within that navigation stack, we're going to use the form again, because again, the form gives us that kind of style out of the gate. Oh, navigation stack. There we go. But yeah, the form is going to give us that style. So we'll add a section within the form, and maybe this will be for things like network. We'll add a brace, and we'll add a navigation link. Within here, we'll add a brace. We'll have some text that says Wi-Fi details. Then after the navigation link brace, we'll add that custom label here, and we'll have that labeled content. We'll have the Wi-Fi, and we'll include the value here, and the value is going to be based off of the Wi-Fi is on. So we'll look at the Wi-Fi on. We'll use our ternary operator. If it is on, we'll have it just say home network. Otherwise, we'll have it say off. And there we go. It's already added that chevron for us. We can click on it, and we have the Wi-Fi details. Of course, in a real app, that would show the actual details. Okay, we'll go down one brace because we still want to be within that section, and we're going to add a toggle. And this is going to have the is on based of our binding of Bluetooth on. And then we'll add a brace, and we'll add a custom label here. We'll have it be Bluetooth. We'll use a system image. And for this one, I'm going to do the dot radio waves. dot left and dot right. That to me is a pretty good Bluetooth icon without ripping the actual one. Okay, so that's our network section. We'll go down a couple braces. We'll create another section here. This one will be account. We'll add a brace, and we'll use our labeled content here. And we'll do our trick for the username. We'll add our brace, and we'll have that text field. We'll have the default say enter name. And the text value is going to be based off the binding of username that we've created above. And remember our little trick here, the multi-line text alignment of trailing, so it appears on the right. So by default, it's going to fill in with my name, but we can come in and change it as much as we want. After this labeled content, let's add a navigation link. We'll add a brace. Maybe this will be text with account details. And we'll include our label. And we'll have our labeled content once again. And maybe this is the plan, and we'll have a value here. And just by default, we'll have it be premium. And if we were to click on this, in a real app, you'd want to navigate to where they can manage their account details, maybe paywalls or in-app purchases and things like that. And we'll add one more section. We'll do our section, and we'll call this one storage. Add a brace, and we'll use our labeled content. I'll have it say used. I'll show you that value trick again. So value 0.75, and we'll format it with the %. Awesome. And then let's add a navigation title so it looks a little bit nicer. Say settings. So here is our view that we made, mainly with the labeled content to really make the settings page look great. We use the labeled content for the Wi-Fi, and this is actually going to update based on the Wi-Fi being on or off. So if this was actually set to false, we'll reload it and it'll display that it is off. We have the Bluetooth with the toggle on or off here. Under the section of account, we use the label content with the username, and then we use that custom view of the text field with that trick of the multi-line trailing. We then did another navigation link here, and for the label, we put through the labeled content. So we have the plan on the left, and then the premium on the right, and you can click on it and go to the account details. Again, in a real app, handle that logic appropriately. And then we did the storage section down here, and we passed through a raw value, and instead of using string interpolation and kind of fixing it, we just formatted it with the format.%. So the TLDR and recap on the labeled content is you have a title and a value for plain rows. Trailing closure for when the value is a control, like the toggle or maybe a slider. You can also create that custom content style as we went through here. You can of course get way more in depth than I did when you want a different shape or you want it to be formatted differently, certain colors. It's totally up to you. With the configuration.label and configuration.content, you have full control. So definitely drop one of these next time you're doing something like a settings screen and delete the HStack because it looks so much cleaner inside of form with this labeled content. If you enjoyed the video, definitely subscribe, dream big, code bigger, and have a great rest of your day.